Hello there, happy Monday. Thanks for joining me tonight. We are working on the Granny Squares quilt again this week. So thank you for joining me. My name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make cute embroidery kits for the beginning crafter. And I'm here every weeknight at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. That's 9:30 Eastern and 6:30 Pacific. And it's a time that we can relax and craft together for about an hour. Tonight, like I was saying, we are back on the Granny Squares quilt. So last time we worked on this, last month, I had just started sewing together the Granny Squares, or all the pieces. I just started the sewing process. That's this process where we sew a strip, and then we cut, and we sew a strip, and then we cut. So we're going to review that again today, and I believe my bobbin ran out last time, so we will continue where we left off. And it looks like I may have some notes for myself on catching up right away from where we left off, so I'm curious what those notes are. So I'm hoping that I'm going to thank past self for thinking about future self, which is me right now. So that's what we're going to see, how well we catch ourselves up here. But I'm hoping that we can actually maybe even finish one of these Granny Squares. I mean, maybe even today. That would be so amazing. I am super excited about getting all of these squares made. This is just the best part of it right now. We got through all that cutting, weeks and weeks and weeks of cutting, and now we get to do all the fun stuff. I'm excited. So thank you guys again for being here. I'm going to flip you around. We are just on Facebook today, still working on the YouTube and Facebook combo. I think I gotta get a new computer for that. Always a thing, right? All right, I hope all of you are feeling okay, feeling healthy. Let me know. I want to keep updates on all of you guys. So, all right, I'm going to flip you around. Let's get started. All right, you guys, I got my bins here. This is, I actually have two bins. I have two bins for this project. So this bin, they're the purple bin project. Oh my God, look at this. This bin has our strips in it. Okay, so this just says scraps. So I think I organized this, that this is the bin that I don't need till later. So I'm setting that aside. And then this is the now stuff bin, I believe. So let's see what past self tried to help us with. So I have them all kind of grouped here, it looks like. So it looks like I'm organized. Looking good. Okay. All right, look at this. Next step. Okay. Here's my notes from past self. Okay. Bobbin ran out. Finish sewing strip that is unfinished. Okay, makes sense. Then sew on a 7-inch strip before cutting. Need 6 strips on final piece. All right, let's see if I can figure out what I mean by all that. So I'm going to unclip this. Let's see what we got in here. Oh, Shirley, you finished a big quilt today. Congrats. That's pretty amazing. All right, what do we got going on? So here's my next step thing. Here's what was in that bin. So, oh, well, there we go. That's the strip. Finish sewing strip that is unfinished. Well, that's this. So direction 1 done. Okay, then sew on a 7-inch strip before cutting. Okay, so all right, this is starting to feel familiar to me. So we had our little strips that we cut off. All right, then we have things of 3, and then they have 4, and then they have 5. So this must be the one that has 6, and then we probably cross-cut all of them. Okay. Whew. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling like I know where we're at. Now I need to find where I might find 7-inch strips. So I think we got that. Well, these are certainly not them. I'm going to start laying these out because I'm guessing I'll probably need these soon. Okay, I got some 1.5-inch squares, and I got some 1 3/4 squares. Let's put those to the side. Ooh, Ooh, a 7-inch strip. Okay, looks like I may need one of them. I'm gonna just randomly grab one out of here. Oh, you're not attempting the granny square quilt, Shirley. You'll live vicarious through all of y'all. All right, I'm just trying to randomly pick, and I picked like 8 pieces here, so let's try and just the top one. All right. Oh, cute. ABC with a little worm on there. All right, let's see. Okay, I'm just gonna put these in order. So this is the 7-inch strip. So in theory, that's what will be sewn onto this. That's okay. Oh, look, I went white, light, dark, light, dark, light. So that'll be interesting. All right, so these are 14-inch strips. If I remember right, we sew like long pieces, then shorter, then shorter, then shorter. So let's just try and maybe get these in order, and then I think we'll be all set up. Okay, 21 inches, 28 inches, 35 inches, and then our outer piece, which is all that teal. So that's also 35 inches, but a bit wider. So that's the start. Okay, I got my layout, so I should just be able to grab from each of these as I go. I'm trying to be random. And then an empty bin. So this must be my working bin. The other bin is the stuff I'll need later. All right, let's look at the next step again. So finish sewing the strip that is unfinished, then sew on a 7-inch strip. We got the 7-inch strip. Before cutting, need 6 inches for final piece. Okay, let's throw that away for now. Now let's kind of review what we're actually doing here. So let's see. This is the pictures for the instructions, but let's actually go to the written instructions again. Okay, sew together. Do not press the seam. Oh yeah, we're cutting before we press the seam. Okay, wait, let's sew together a brown tone. That's our background color. Strip to an assorted print. Do not press seam yet. Cut a 7-inch wide piece from the brown, and then we cut. Okay, so we probably don't do this last round. Okay, here's where we're at. Add an assorted 7-inch strip to the bottom edge of the remaining. Press seams in the unit. Okay, away. All right, that's what I wanted to know. We're always pressing away from this blue. All right, we can do that. And then we are cross-cutting to 4 pieces. It looks like we always need 4 pieces. That makes sense too. All right, you guys, I think I'm on board now. So let's start out. Let's sew back on this piece, and then right away we will sew this piece to that, and then we're good. So let's get the iron heating up. Go down to my sewing machine. I am still on my old Kenmore sewing machine from, oh gosh, I was gonna look it up. I think it's it's either from 1938 or 1942. I'm gonna have to look it up specifically again. Crazy though. It could have been used in a wartime setting, and that makes it just extra, I don't know, bizarre that we're working on it now and where the world's at right now. Oh, let's move that cord. Hold on a sec here. All right, let's do a little back stitching to kind of lock that stitch in place, and then we should be good to go again. Look at all those stitching holes. So I'm not perfectly lined up here, but I don't think that's going to be a problem. Oh man, I got to remember where a 1/4 inch on this is again too now. Huh. I might. Oh yeah, you guys remember we had my 1/4 inch mark here too. I might actually test my 1/4 inch again. So I'll show you how I do that. So I'm not as familiar with where my 1/4 inch seam allowance is on this sewing machine, just because haven't used it as much as my 70s Kenmore, but that's still a little bit on the fritz because I'm not going to the sewing machine guy anytime soon. So to help me, I have a little magnet here. So this doesn't work. You don't want to use this, I guess, if you have like an electronic machine, but on a completely mechanical old machine like this, I can put it down wherever and it's super strong. Like it's actually really hard to lift up. I have to use this little tab. And I can mark where that 1/4 inch is. I can even move it right up here if I want it. And that will help me out when I sew a strip. So I'll just, run it along that edge 1/4 inch. So that's what this magnet is for. This is vintage too. This came from, I don't know, some other vintage machine that I have laying around here. All right, I am going to use this. This is from Perkins Dry Goods, and be sure to look it up. I don't have a link to it, but here's the address, perkinsdrygoods.com. It's the perfect piecing seam guide. I like having this around. So here's what I use it for. You see that hole right in the middle there? I'm going to put the needle there. And then this line is like that perfect scant 1/4 inch that we're looking for with all this quilting. So I'm lowering my needle. So it's right in that hole there. Then I'm lowering my foot and I'm just trying to get it as straight as I can, kind of guessing on that. And that's my 1/4 inch. So a visual for me is that it is just like a hair, just like maybe a 32nd of an inch past this foot, my foot that I'm typically using. So I'm going to actually put, oh gosh, that's so difficult. I'm going to put this right here. I could put it up a little. There's that screw that's kind of in the way, but I'm going to put it like right here. And so now if I sew right up against that, then I should be hitting that 1/4 inch mark that I need. So, all right, let's take this out. There, now I should be ready to go. Again, that's the Perkins Dry Goods. It's the perfect piecing seam guide from Perkins Dry Goods. Give it a look. I love having it just sitting around when I need it. And okay, so now we should be able to sew this next piece on with a pretty accurate 1/4 inch seam allowance. And, after you get quilting and doing this a ton, your body is just going to know where that 1/4 inch is. Like you're going to just see that 1/4 inch so often that you're going to know it. So I'm not quite there with this machine yet, I don't think. Oh gosh, I should get some of my leaders out here. Some of that other project that I'm working on. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll go grab those. But all right, see, so now I'm going to line this up right with the edge here. I can line up the left with another ruler. Oh, yeah, you could do that too. So I think I'm going a little too far in, actually. So that's looking better. All right. So I don't have those leaders here, so let me go get some of those. But I think we're actually ready to press this. So usually I like to have the next piece ready to go here. But there we are. So this is going to be our first granny square here. So next up, we are in the pressing zone. Okay, so we want to press this away from our outer piece. So our outer piece is always going to be this blue. And so I'm going to just kind of lay this upside down. And I'm going to start on the blue and then press across all of these. So I did it up at the top there. Now I'm going to do it down here. I'm tugging on them a little bit just so that there's no like little fold in, but I'm not really pulling on them too much. And then I'm going to flip it over. And again, let's just give it a little press in the direction of the fold there. And you guys, my iron smells a little bit. I think I have, oh yeah, look, I have some of that Steam-A-Seam 2 on there a little bit. So I'm going to have to do some cleaning on here eventually. So we'll have to review some of those good ways to clean. I got to remember all those ways. But okay, so here we are. Now we need to trim them to the 1 1/4 inch. What is it? It's not 1 1/4. 1 1/2 inch pieces. All right, same as these, I'm guessing. Yeah, 1 1/2 inch. And it looks like I got one good edge here, so I'm going to actually conclude that this is, maybe not. It's a little wiggly, isn't it? All right, let's grab the rulers. So I'm going to just trim this nicely. I think I had just enough for the 4. We actually need like 6 inches worth, don't we? Oh, let's get the glove on. Hey, Anna, we are working on the Granny Squares quilt. So we've been doing we've been working on a project every week. We switch to a different project. So like the first full week of every month, we work on the Granny Squares project. The Granny Squares quilt, this is what it looks like. It imitates a crocheted granny square Afghan, really. So I thought it was just so adorable. So this is the quilt we're making. Mine is going to be mostly, instead of that brown, it's going to be this teal. I tried to use a lot of the colors of the year when I was working on it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Yeah, we got plenty. Good. I really only needed 6 inches worth, so this is good. All right, 1 1/2 inches coming up. Oh, Kathy. So this is my first block. So you're not that far behind. It was really all about the cutting. I did so much cutting. So now I get to finally do the fun part. Okay. Gosh, that feels super crooked, doesn't it? Ugh, I'm going with it. You don't want to make a mistake here, because it's all our pieces. This is it for our pieces. So this is going to appear super patchworky, but it's really not. It's really done with all these strips. Okay, and then this is our excess. Oh yes, Kathy. So this is literally my first block here. Okay, you guys, that's like the big deal here. I've finished all those first strips, so now we're like onto the real stuff. Wait a sec. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh God, I thought there was only 5 there for a sec. Man, I'm psyching myself out tonight. All right, so we need to sew this together now. Let's look at the text again just to make sure. Okay, referring to diagram 6, sew together 1 brown tone on tone. Well, ours aren't brown. Ours are, here are these. Ours are the teal. Sew together 1 teal, 1 3/4 square, and 1 each of the segments A, B, C, and D to make a block quadrant. Press seams away from segment D. Okay, repeat 4 times. All right, so let's take a look at this. So here, now we'll be able to do some chain piecing. Oh, Amy, I have eaten all of the jelly beans. The jelly beans and the Skittles are long gone. However, we do get our grocery delivery on Thursday, and there are more jelly beans in there. So I won't be without my beans for very long. All right, so this is, let's just kind of make our 4 little zones so we can keep doing this right. So, I'm going to lay 2 out, and I'm going to lay them out here and here. So let's go like this. 1, 2, 3. Maybe I'll have it on the actual ironing board here. I'm just trying to stay organized here. All right, so we'll sew one of these to there. One of these to here. Oh, nope, this way. Sheesh, okay. I gotta make sure that that's right. So the blues go up. I'm looking at the diagram. Okay, so now we get this guy. Move you guys. These are all going to be fun. So again, here I'm just kind of being, I'm not like, oh, which one of these should go where? They're all basically the same. I'm not worried about any of that. This is going to be like a really black and white, like a light and dark sort of block. I'm hoping I don't get all of them like that, because I do like some of the blocks that are kind of low contrast, where it doesn't go like from white to black to white to black, or white to dark blue in my case here. I do like when they're closer in color. But the whole point is that I'm going to have a ton of variety throughout the quilt. So I do want them to... Oop, that's got to turn around. Jeez, I got to catch that on all of these. Thought it looked a little weird. But I do want it to feel random and different, each one of these blocks. So your outer color should be crawling up on the upper level here. So don't accidentally have one flipped the wrong way. Okay, so we sew this to this, and I'll just do that for each one, and then we'll sew the next one to each one, then the next one to each one, then the next one. So we'll just keep going around and around and around with all these, and I think that's the jam here, and I'll put these away for now so I don't lose all these. This is for the entire quilt. And I'm going to just look ahead quick, because I think there's some sashing that comes in here next. Because remember, I did cut a little pink square that's going to be the center of every single one of my pieces. So I want to make sure that I'm not messing that up. So let's go here. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, you guys, I'm already messing it up. So I am taking out these ones. I'm actually only sewing 5 pieces together, not 6. So these are for the sashing later, the longest ones. Oh man, instructions, good visual instructions here. So, all right. So those I'm going to stay for later, and then they each get that one little guy in the middle. So why don't I get that one right now as well? We'll set that off to the side, and then we will, there we go. That'll be our little centerpiece. And then we'll be able to sew all these up right now. I think we're good to go now. So let's double check again. It's that first square, then 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. Square, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, we're good to sew now. We are good. Glad I looked over that again, because that would have been a disaster a little bit. That actually probably wouldn't have mattered all that much, because we do ultimately need to sew it to those, but man. All right. I guess let's just start at the bottom here. Oh, thank you, Gina. I'm totally loving them as well. So if you remember, the colors, we spent some time on the colors. So the first video, oh, this will be interesting because they're only like so far. Do you think I should keep sewing to the end and then start the next one? Or do you think I should kind of veer off and start the next one? I kind of think I should just keep sewing. But will that be in the way later? Like, oh, I think this is all ultimately going to get cut off. Oh, yes. So, Christine, there is a link below for the pattern. I think it's $6 on the allpeoplequilt.com website. So it's actually from like the October magazine, like years and years ago, but I just loved it so much and I wanted to work on it. All right, I'm going to grab some leaders quick here. So I have this basket of cut up shirts that I have been sewing. Like whenever I start sewing on a different project like this, I'll just sew on either side of the diagonal here. And I'm going to end up with a whole pile of half square triangles. So I'm kind of almost doing another project as we go here, which is kind of fun. So I have a few pieces cut up. It's almost time to cut more pieces, but let's get these guys out too. All right, so I have only this many pieces left, but we'll see how that goes. All right, so instead of doing this... Oh, why is this one wider? It's on purpose, but I don't remember why. Oh, you know what? All of them are wider. So actually all of these outer squares are a little bit wider. So it's mimicking ultimately those when we're done. So it'll be opened like this. And what it's doing is it's giving us that extra 1/4 inch, because this is ultimately going to get chopped like this. We're ultimately going to rotate these 45 degrees and then cut it all off. So it's giving us that extra little bit. So anytime you see the outer color, so your main outer color, mine happens to be teal, in the instructions it's brown, that's going to be the slightly larger bit. All right, so I'm going to just get my machine started by stitching on here. Although my little magnet's kind of in the way for this, but all right, so all this is doing is getting my machine started so that I can get going with this right away. Let's see, where's my stiletto? There we go. I like having this guy around too. Oh, I hope so. Gretchen says you're going to be thrilled when this comes together. You're going to want to do more. I love this block. Yeah, I've been just freaking waiting for this moment. I am just going to sew all the way to the end. It's going to ultimately get cut off. So now I'm grabbing the same pieces from the next row. Hope I sewed that to the correct side. Wait a sec. I might have did that wrong already, you guys. I did. Ah! All right, so I did that wrong. I'm supposed to do this is supposed to be stair-stepping up, so I'm going to have to rip that one off. God, thinking about other stuff. All right. So I'm actually going to do that now, right away. Boo! All right, let's see if I can get, here we go. Seam ripper. Oh, you have a stiletto. Oh my gosh. So in my head, a stiletto, and this is actually just a turkey lacer with some beads. For me, a stiletto is like having an extra finger that's nice and pointy, like a pin. It's like having a finger that's a pin, basically. So you can get right in there. You can hold two pieces down with the tip and guide it in there. So I actually really love that. Okay, so let's pick that first little stitch out. All right, so now you kind of get it going like that, and then you put the ball side down, and then you should be able to tear right up the whole thing. That's I think hopefully the correct way of using one of these. All right, let's try that again, people. Man, it's not all the time that I have to get that guy out. Okay, so this was supposed to go like this, so on this side. All right, see, so now I'm gonna get my pointy finger out here, and I'm like using it as a pin to hold these two pieces together and kind of guide it up in there. You know what? I'm not sure I like this here. I might actually move it. Okay, let's get the next one out. Bloop. Oh, there, that's how I should do it. I should think of it folding the bigger piece to the smaller piece. That's what I'll do. Oh, wait, that's not how I've been doing it, though. I've been flipping it like this, haven't I? I'm trying to get in a rhythm here, right? So let's think about it. Well, yeah, because this is the important edge. That's the edge that I want to stay nice and clean. So I will go like this. So we're starting. So at a nice good edge there. Oh, about the, Catherine, about how to use the seam ripper. I think my mom showed me that once with the seam ripper, and I was like, what? That's how you use the seam ripper? My mind was a little bit blown, because I had a long seam, like, you know, like a 3-foot seam that I'm like, oh God, I'm gonna have to pick out each one of those with the little, you know, sharp point of the seam ripper. But she's like, just turn that around and you just go straight up, and it just went all the way up, and holy cow, it became my new favorite tool. But you know, a tool that I don't actually want to have to use. All right, so that was all of our, that was our first 4. So we're chain stitching. This is called chain stitching, when we just do one after the other like this. I'm gonna just snip off that first one. Hopefully I'm doing this right. We'll see pretty soon here. All right, there's our first one. So now I'm just gonna grab the next one. There we go, and I'm gonna just fold that on top. Oh, now in theory, I wanna match my seams together here. They are pointed the same direction, which is not always easy. Should I use a clip or not on those? I don't think so. I think I'm just gonna keep sewing here. There, I'm putting the smaller piece on top. In theory, I want all those seams to be really nice and together. But when you have so much of the seam, when you have the seams folded in the same direction, yeah, I'm not perfectly matched up there, but I don't know. Maybe it'll just make this quilt look scrappier. I don't know. In theory, I want like all of these points like this. In theory, I want this seam to line up perfectly so you have a perfect point right there. But that's actually pretty hard to do if your seam allowances are folded in the same direction. You see they're both going in the same direction here. Ideally, you'd have one going in the other direction, then you get a super perfect point, or you'd have them both open, and then you can get kind of a better point. Yeah, I could alternate the pressing. I was just using, I think I was doing what they said in the instructions though. So that's why I'm a little like, wonder if that's right. So we could alternate the pressing as we work on the strips next time. So this will be our first block. We're gonna learn from this block. I'm not gonna alternate the pressing on this one, but I think in the future ones, I think that might be something I want to do. I'm gonna have to remember what went where, but I think our ends are going to, our points are going to line up a lot better. So this will be the test case, right? And this will be our control. This will be our control, and then the next ones. I'm going to cut that other one off. the next ones we'll see if we can adapt it to work a little bit better for us. Or maybe this will be fine. We'll see. And I think as we go too, I feel very clumsy about how I'm putting these together. Like I want to just be able to grab them and put them in the right positioning right away. So I'm thinking as we go, I'll get better at that as well. So we're just at that stage in the process, like the first sew when we figure it all out. So I should just like hold it like this and get this right on top right away. That feels more comfortable. Lining up that edge is the most important. Matching those. Oh, that seam ripper, I'm telling you, that was an aha moment when Mom told me how to use that. All right, that was the next round. Oh gosh, I'm like grabbing close to that rotary cutter. I don't want to cut my fingers off. All right, I'm gonna cut all 3 of these right away. Cut the next one once it's off the machine. Since it doesn't really matter what goes with what. Oh yeah, see, so that's not, I mean, it's like a who cares, but it's not a perfectly matched line right there. I wonder how we did on the other ones. Let's peek. Yep, this one too, just a hair off. That's what happens with the when they're pressed the same direction. There's so much bulk that it's trying to move it around. That one too is not perfect. So yes, I'm going to alternate the pressing next round. So, you know, we're sewing those strips together and then cutting. So I just have to remember, like, I don't know, all the even strips press like away from the blue and all the odd strips or the teal press towards, something like that. I'm going to have to do that. Oh, you missed the seam ripping demo. Well, Jeannie, I'm really hoping I don't have to do it again. I pressed a couple things the wrong direction, but we'll see. You never know. I may need to do it again here. All right, so yeah, especially now I have 2 seams that I'm going to want to match up perfectly, and that's going to be difficult with them pressed the same direction. So yep, I'm going with that. I'm going with that improvement. I'm going with the alternating the pressing. I suspect the pattern is written like this to make it to make it more of a beginning pattern, to make it less confusing for people who don't know about, you know, that it works a little bit better if you press the seams in the same direction. I'm guessing, or in the opposite direction. I'm guessing that's the case. That they just decided to, let's not bother with that detail because it might just throw people. I don't know. I don't know that to be true. I'm just speculating. So for this one, I'm gonna try and get them as close as I can, those seams to match up, but I'm not gonna bother too much with it because I know once we are sewing them, once they have the opposite, pressed in the opposite directions, I know they'll just be so much better. So we'll do what we can here. Okay, one more here, and I think I have one on the machine yet too. Yeah, again, I'm not coordinated with how to turn my fabric quite yet, but we'll get there. Learning on the first block. Again, trying to get those seams matched up as well as I can. Yep, I'm getting my pointy finger in here, my stiletto kind of guiding things a bit. All right, and then we have the one that's still on the machine. from the beginning. Okay. One more to sew on after this. I like this chain piecing a bunch or like all the sides at once though. It definitely speeds the process up. What week do I do the embroidery? So I do the embroidery of the month. It's the Sloth this month. The embroidery of the month is every third full week. So this April's a little goofy because we did have a last week, right? But it wasn't a full week. So it's the third full week. So this week will all be the Granny Squares quilt. Then next week will be the Splendid Sampler 2. We'll work on the Splendid Sampler 2 blocks again, and then the week after that will be the Sloth Embroidery of the month. So they went out today, so you should be getting if you ordered a bundle, and we're out of bundles. I'm trying to get it so we have more available each month, but you guys keep getting them really quickly, so I'm trying to fix that. So the pattern's still available, but they went out today if you bought a bundle, and so you should be getting it soon. And that'll be the third week. I think it's the 20th is the start of the third week. Can't quite remember. And I don't think that's going to take the entire time either, but I have an idea of another fun thing we could do that week. Ooh, hey, that's not bad though. That is a nice straight seam. That's a little wonky again, but that one looks pretty good. Oh, so we're out of bundles, but the bundle comes typically. They're a little different each time, but they come with a stick and stitch printout of the embroidery. So that's that embroidery stabilizer where you can just print it out and stick it to your embroidery, and you stitch right through it. It's kind of awesome. I'll show you guys that when we start stitching on the third week. And you get floss and let's see. This time you got a hoop and needle and everything too. Sometimes I have tea towels in there. Sometimes there's other little fun bonus items, but you should have enough to keep going. And you also get the digital pattern. So if you guys did get a bundle, be sure to check your receipt, your email receipt. Your email receipt has your PDF pattern in. So you get the full digital PDF pattern when you get the bundle. So that's already in your email. You guys should already have that. Oh, you would need the bundle. So I do have, I have the pattern. So the pattern is still available. We're out of the bundles, but I'll go over how to do it. You know, I do have hoops and needles and stuff in the shop. I'm working on getting more of that sort of stuff, more supplies in the shop as well. But yeah, the bundles, they've been selling out pretty quickly at the beginning of the month. This month was especially quick because, I mean, it's only the 5th or whatever, or 6th today. What is today? This is the 6th. You did not get the email receipt for the PDF. Okay, direct message me, Catherine, later, or no, just email me at info@. Oftentimes when that's happened, it's because I don't know if this is what happened to you, but what's happened before is someone has not entered their email address correctly when they purchased it. Like, you know, like they forgot the M in Gmail or something. So if that's the case, then I will be able to find out after you email me, but we'll get it to you. So if you didn't get your email receipt, I mean, check spam or whatever, but it may be because of that email thing. Okay. So yeah, give me an email and I'll send it to you in the email. I think I have one more. Oh, is that it? That may be it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ha. All right, let's get another leader in here. Oh, you emailed me, Catherine? I will look right when we're done here tonight. I've been a little MIA during the day. Okay, let's see what we got here. I think it's time to press. Yeah, so there won't be any bundles anymore for this month. I may be able to get, if you're missing something specific that is in the bundle, like if you need fabric or a hoop or something like that, I'll try and get some of that up in the shop. We do have tea towels. I don't have fabric up in the shop quite yet. Let's see, you guys can go here. All right, let's look at this. So I think we're pressing away from the D. Did it say away from the D? Oops. Press seams away from the D segment. Okay, perfect. All right, so this is the D segment. We are going to just flip this and I'm going to press them all this way. Oh, wow, I'm on a little hill here. Oh, this is where it's going to start getting cute. Sew something wrong so I can rip it. Hey, I'll show you on one of my leaders here. Yeah, I'll do that. Oh, it's starting to be freaking cute. Yep, I'll show you how to do the seam ripper again. We'll press these and then I'll do that. Looking cute. Oh, that's awesome, Gretchen. I have not had a moment to make more masks, and it's driving both John and me a little crazy. We both want to make more masks. Oh, look, it looks like I flipped this, this seam went in the wrong direction by accident. Oh, well. So we went over how to get like those little L stitches in the mask if you wanted to put the nose piece in, and that metal nose piece, I mean, that really actually makes a big difference when you're wearing it. You know, without is nice, so you can just throw it on and stuff, but, oop, I'm missing there's that piece. But that little nose piece is helpful, like if you have a little pipe cleaner or something. Oh, you love these colors. I'm totally liking them so far. Oh yeah, I think I forgot, I was talking about this. The colors were based on, I wanted to do a quilt that was inspired by the color of the year, like the Pantone color of the year and the Kona fabric color of the year. So the color of the year for Pantone is kind of this blue, like this kind of royal blue. I think they call it classic blue. Actually, here's like exactly what it looks like right there. But I did not have enough fabric to make that my main fabric. So I went with this teal, and I tried to get as much of this color blue as I could. I'm using my stash. And then the Kona color is kind of like this emerald green, maybe a little lighter than this. So I try to get a lot of that in as well. So we started off with those colors. And I kind of went from there. All right, I think this is what happens next, you guys. Look at it come together. So we're sewing it this way, but ultimately when you rotate it sideways like this, that's when you get the square. Okay, so I think this is almost like a 9 patch where we sew these 3 together. Like this. And then we sew these 3 together. Got to make sure to get that teal on the outside. And yep, then this. All right, so how I'm going to do this is I'm going to sew these 2 because I'm chain piecing still. So I'm going to sew these 2, then these 2, then these 2. Then I'll take this off of the machine, sew this on, take this off of the machine, sew this on, and then take this off of the machine and sew that on. Then I'm sure we have to press in some direction, and then we'll get those rows together. So that's going to be the progression here. I wanted to show you that seam ripper again, though. So let's take one of my little leaders here. So this is, I think, the proper way of using a seam ripper. So again, a seam ripper, you got your pointy little bit, you got your sharp bit right in the middle there, and then there's this ball. And it's like, what am I supposed to do with that, right? So this is how it works. I start out by just kind of trying to pick a couple of the seams out, and that's what I'm using the little pointy end for, just kind of picking those out, and you can kind of start seeing them separate there. Then I turn it this way, and sometimes you have to get a good grip on it, but now I'm going to flip it this way so that the ball is down. All right, so the ball is in that seam, and I'm just going to kind of pull on the end here. I don't want to poke a hole in my fabric though either. So pulling it apart. Sometimes it works a little slicker than other times. Oh, but there we go. Now it just goes right up that seam. Collecting those stitches. Oh, and there it's apart. I have 2 seams in here, so I'll do it with the other seam as well, and then we'll get just we'll have our 2 pieces of fabric again. So, all right, let's pick out that first little bit just to kind of get the ball rolling. There we go. So where it starts to come apart. And then now I'm getting it so I go from bottom to the top and then turn that ball so it's down. And so it's going underneath the fabric. I think, if you do this I think it's because if you do this on a hard surface, like you should go like this and go on a surface and do it. I'm just doing it in the air here. But the ball down. And then you just kind of go up that seam. Oh, it's kind of being floppy. Better done on the ground. There we go. But you get the idea. It's not, you don't pick out each seam like every 3 stitches. You pick out that little bit, then you turn it over and go right up the edge. So there you go. Mom showed me that. All right. Let's get these guys together. So flip that and we'll get to the machine. Oh, this is very ocean-y, isn't it, this one? Oh, I hope this whole thing reminds me of the ocean. That'd be cool. Yes, so next time, I want to hear next time you have to use a seam ripper if that works out for you. It's kind of enjoyable. To seam rip. Because it's like a little magic trick. Man, if only I made more mistakes, then I could seam rip more often. Although I haven't had to use it all that often lately. Use my little pink middle. It's my little tiny bit that veers off of this blue color scheme. Oh, now these are opposite. So these ones I should be able to nest together because we've rotated things, so everything's going to be a bit different now. Stiletto. Trying to get these seams to match up. Oh, you call it unsewing? Yep. It's a good way, good term for it. Alrighty. Okay, so that was the first kind of column here. So now we just have these three left. Ooh, that rotary cutter is in a not good place there. I'll save this guy for later. Ah, looking good. All right, so this was the top. So this connects to here. So let's flip those together. You could sew all of your granny square pieces, like whole squares, all at once. I think there's like, I don't know, 30 or something in this quilt. There might be more, actually. I don't know. I don't remember. But I think I would get too confused, so I'm doing them one at a time like this. I think that'll be fun just to discover them. But you could, like, super assembly line do this and probably do them all at once. Just trying to get these seams matched up and the edges matched up. Okay, next thing off the end here. All right, so this gets sewn to this column. This is our skinny center. All we have to do is sew these three guys together. Yeah, I'm gonna go, I think I'll be like a hair late tonight. I just wanna finish this guy. So we'll go until I have this guy done. So that's really just sewing these three sections together. Ugh, we do have to press though. So let's read what direction we should be pressing this in. I suppose we could do whatever we want, but let's at least do one where we read the instructions and go by that. Like I said, this is our control piece. I think I flipped the seam allowance upside down a little bit there, underneath. Now you could clip all of these. You could like put pins or clips at every single one of these junctures. I mean, it'll take a little time to do that, but you might not be putzing around a lot like how I am, just trying to line things up each time. All right, now I'm gonna get my leader in here again so I can cut these all off of the machine and we can press them. All right, let's see what we got. All right, I'm gonna snip them apart, but then I do need to see, I'm gonna look at the peek at the instructions and see what way it says to press, if it does. It's looking so cool. And this guy. Ah, so fun. All right, let's take a look quick. All right, well, here's the part where we're on. It doesn't have pressing instructions there, so let's go back here. In each row, press seams away from the E segments. What are the E segments? Away. away from the E segments. Okay, that makes sense. That was a little confusing, but it makes sense. So away from the E segment. So we're going to press these this way. So this is where, so this we're pressing in opposite direction. So this one's, we're going to press inward. These we're going to press outward. And then our seams will be in opposite directions when we sew the whole things together. So, all right, I think I got it. Let's press. I'm just going to move the guy right on top here. Okay, away. So I think we'll just go up the middle here. Give it kind of like a starter press. Then we'll kind of pull on it a little bit. That side. That side. Get it from the top. Wow, look at how small these little squares are. They're pretty dang cute. All right, let's do the same one while we're at it. Okay, outward. Just, I'm not pressing all the way down here. I'm just kind of getting it kind of wanting to go in the right direction. I think I'll start on the front this time. Just kind of pulling on it a bit. Oh, and each one of these is going to be totally different, and that's what I'm super excited about. So each day we'll get cranking on another one of these. Wow, I am definitely off on some bits there, but I kind of like that. It'll, you know, it gives it some character, I think. But yeah, our new way of doing it where we press them opposite directions. Hopefully it doesn't mess it up when we get to this section, but I think in general everything will line up much better. All right, last little bit. Let's sew this to this. So we just gotta make sure our middle is matched up, and then we'll take it off, and then we'll sew this other piece on, and we will press. Wow, it might actually behoove us to do some clipping with this. You know what? I think I'm gonna throw some clips right on the center piece, at least so that we know that that's kind of lined up. Gosh, now I'm off again. Right here. So let's line up these two seams. So they should bump together, those seams. When they bump together like that, it's called nesting a seam, but it only works if they're pressed in the opposite directions, but you should actually feel the physical, that fold bump against each other, and then you should have a nice point. So I'm going to clip that one, and let's clip the same part on this side. So that's our nice center. If we can get that center looking good. I could do that for all the rest of these, but I think I'm going to just wing it for the rest. I'm just going to keep that center kind of clipped. And you know what? I think I'm done with this magnet. It's just kind of getting in the way. I'm going to wing it with my... should I go this way? Should the shorter piece be on top? I kind of don't know. Let's go this way. All right, so I just kind of lined up this first one here, and we'll just see if this works. I don't know. We're going to be cutting off a whole lot of this, so if we're not super perfect on the outer edge, that's not going to be the end of the world. Okay, so just trying to go and line up each one of these as best I can. They're not going to be perfect, that's for sure. But just kind of going one by one. All right, and these are our clipped ones, so those should be pretty accurate. I'm going to remove that quick and get my pointy pin finger stiletto down here. Same thing here. We'll have to see how well we did with those inner points. I'm going to do that for the other side as well. So we'll take this off the machine, and then we will get that other edge on. pulling on it a little bit just so it can line up a bit better. Oh, I'm so excited for this quilt. This one has been one that we've been talking about for a few years, so I'm glad we finally are working on it. Here's this piece that I took apart. All right. Let's see how we did on that pink, and ooh, yellow would be beautiful for the center. Leslie, I'm with you. That sounds like it'd be awesome. Okay, let's see how we did. Oh yeah, check out that. That is a perfect little joining there, and so it is on that side. So those are the two that we clipped, but those are the ones that we for sure pressed the opposite direction. See, it's going this way, the seam allowance is going this way on that one, and this way on this one. So when you have that, you can really match up seams perfectly, and that worked great. So that's good. So let's do that with this other piece. Okay, I think this white is the center. Yeah, the longest one, so right there. Let's get those clips in there. Okay, again, we're butting up those folds, the folds of the seams, so they're right butted up against each other. I think we did, yeah. I think we sewed with the longest part on top. So I'll put my clip in that direction. Butting up those seams. There we go. All right, let's give it another go. I'm excited to see what this looks like. We'll press it, and I won't trim them yet. I think I'll trim them all when I'm done, but I'll rotate it so you guys can see how this is gonna look, because we're not gonna keep these as diamonds. We're gonna rotate them so they're squares, so they look more like granny squares. So this is one of those quilts where you're actually making all the blocks, every single block at an angle, and then we rotate all the blocks before sewing them together. All right. The two centers, now let's work on the rest of these. I'm hoping that as we get going on this too, I'll get a little bit quicker and better at sewing all these little bits together. All right, that's it. Let's get, I think let's leave her as one more row to go on. All right, let's press it. Oh, could I do one as an example? Oh, sure, we could do that. So Catherine's asked if we could do a, like, I'm guessing you mean like trim one out as an example. All right, it looks like they're meant to go outward, so I'm just gonna do that. Kind of going with the flow with how these most outer ones are. So I'm just kind of getting it started. There, and now I'm gonna flip it around. And we'll get a little bit better pull on it a little bit. Yeah, so what are these supposed to end up for size? Let's take a look at that direction. Oh, Leslie, I'm not sure why that is. All right. I'm liking that. All right, so ultimately, so this is the block we made, right? But ultimately, we're going to be rotating it like that, and then that gets us like our granny square quilt. So let's just read that instruction. So here's the cutting, but I just want to read what it has to say about cutting. Trim the block to a 9-inch square, including seam allowances. Oh, that's a weird direction. So does the 9 inches include the seam allowance, Or do I need to add the seam allowance? That's a kind of a funny wording. Trim block to 9 inch square, including seam allowances. So the 9 inch includes seam allowances. Let's just take a look. So here is, okay, 9 inches is here. Okay, so that kind of makes sense. So it looks like, okay, that makes sense. So the 9 inches does include the seam allowance. So it looks like we're almost cutting right through, we're just cutting like all these phalanges off. So we're just cutting right where this line is here. So I suspect that when it's sewn in the quilt, it's going to butt up right against here. So the 1/4 inch seam allowance is like right there. And that is about right where all these pieces come together. So let's do this once. So I have 9 inches here. Yeah, it looks like it's all going right through the points of everything. So I'm going to try and line up all those points as best I can. So you can kind of tell. So see this edge? It's going right through all of the points of these rectangles. It's, you know, like pretty well, I think. All right, let's get the glove on. So I think this includes the seam allowance, this 9 inches, and I'll show you why. Let's just actually, I want to just peek at what the final quilt looks like. The final quilt. Yeah, I suspect that it includes the seam allowance. Yeah. All right. We're doing it this way, and then I'll show you like the mechanics of it in a sec here. So, all right. We're basically cutting all the little edges off. I'm going to rotate this whole mat. Oh, the glove, you guys. So this is just like kind of a worksman safety glove. It's so I don't like, ooh, gosh, didn't have the safety on. It's so I don't like slice through my finger. It's just a little extra protection. And it has a rubber bottom, so I can hold the ruler and everything pretty well. Okay, so you're basically just cutting all these little triangle bits off. I'm trying to get into the habit of wearing it when I cut. I've seen so many people, or so many Facebook posts of people who've like cut through their finger and have been in the emergency room, and that freaking freaks the heck out of me. So, so I'm trying to get used to wearing the glove. All right, we have one bit down here cut. So now I'm going to line up 9 inches on this square edge, and it should, there are 9 inches and 9 inches. It should end up right at those little cross bits right here, all the points of each one of these, right? So, and it looks like it is. So we'll cut all, oh my gosh, the squares got so small. This seemed like such a big piece, but look, it just feels so tiny now. Oops, I moved, so I'm gonna have to reline that up. So again, we're just at the 9 inches. And if you didn't have a big square like this, I think you could just aim for the corners. Like I'm literally cutting through all of these corner points. I think you could just take a ruler and aim for that, and you'd probably be okay. You know, if you don't have a big old square ruler like that, that's what I would do. Okay, so I'm going to take out a teal strip, and we are going to look at this for a moment here. Okay, so there we are. So it's basically, you cut off all those little triangles, and you still have quite a bit here though, right? So you have at least a good seam allowance. So ultimately when it's sewn in, it should almost just look like a little triangle thing here. So if we take another strip, so I don't think these are the exact strips, but we will have sashing in between each of these blocks. So sashing is just like a border around it. And so if we get rid of the 1/2 inch seam allowance or the 1/4 inch seam allowance, it'll sew in, it'll ultimately end up being about like right there, right? So let's say we sew this piece. So we're kind of just making these into triangles once they're sewn into the quilt. There, so we'll have like this little border. Let's just unfold this. We'll have a little border all the way around. So you could actually do a different color if you wanted. If you didn't want it blending right into the quilt, you could do that. But this really does give it that crocheted look, that little like bumpy crocheted edge. So yeah, so this is the general idea. These two look really weird next to each other. We're just going to keep making different blocks, and they're all going to be completely different because I'm just grabbing a variety of strips from the bag. But then the blue, this teal, this is what's going to be consistent. So I'm always going to have the teal on the outer edge, and the teal is also going to be my sashing. So the overall feel of the quilt will be the teal, but then with these kind of dark blue, white, and green centers, and they're all going to have that one red center in the middle. So yay, this is a representation of the block for sure here. I'm excited. It'll be fun to see where this goes. But yeah, look how much it shrunk down. It feels like such a little block. So yep, we were sewing it together like that, but it's going to end up being in the quilt like that. So awesome, you guys. Thanks for hanging out extra long with me here tonight. I'm going to flip you guys around. Okay, I've just been waiting to do this quilt. It is so pretty. Oh my gosh, I'm just gonna be super crooked right now. Good enough. Here we go. Oh, it's so pretty. I'm so excited. I think this is the week I look most forward to, at least now that we're done with all the cutting. I cannot wait to get going on the rest of this. And like I said, each one's gonna look different. So this one has a ton of white in. The next one might not have any in. So I'm curious to see how different it'll be. I am literally just kind of grabbing strips from each, the 35-inch strips and then the 28-inch strips and then whatever. All those are organized by size, but then I'm gonna just pick the size that we're gonna do there. Oh, Anna, so I still have the pattern for the sloth. If you have any questions on how to do it just from the pattern, I will go over how to do that as well. So all you need is some fabric and a pencil, and you'll be ready to go. As long as if you have a needle and thread too, but you could use yarn, you could use kind of anything you have around. If you do need a needle or a hoop, I do have those in the shop. I don't have floss right now, but send me an email and maybe we can figure out something for the floss. But yeah, you really just need to be able to have the pattern and a pencil to trace it onto some fabric. You can do it on a pillowcase, you can do it on whatever. Awesome, you guys. Thank you again for joining me here. I will try and start getting these back up onto YouTube. I know I've been so far behind on that, but thanks for your patience. I appreciate it a ton. I'm excited to work on this project again this week. All right, you guys, have a great evening. Good night.